Did anything happen today? Did anything happen in the world of Final Cut Pro? Why, yes, it did. Yes, it did. Is it going to make everybody happy? No, it's not. It's impossible. It is impossible for a Final Cut Pro update to please everybody. It's an impossible task. Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that the number one thing that I wanted to see in Final Cut for 15 years or longer has been a scrolling timeline. I really didn't think that's what we were going to get in 10.7. People asked me what I wanted, and I said, oh, text-based editing, auto captions. And somebody said, I think a couple people said on this live stream, what about a scrolling timeline? And I said, well, that'd be great if it happens, but I really wasn't expecting it. But I am ecstatic. I am completely ecstatic that we finally got a scrolling timeline. We got a lot of comments, as you might expect, and we're going to stay up and answer these. We're going to discuss this the update, and I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'm not sure what time yet. Once I wake up, I have to go over my footage that I shot today. You can't shoot anything at Apple Park. You can't shoot anything out there. So no photographs, no video. Although I did get one exception to that. I asked permission if I could get a picture of two Bill Davises, both Bill Davises at the same time, and I was allowed to photograph both Bill Davises in the same place at the same time, because I was convinced that there was only one Bill Davis and they kept switching identities like Clark Kent and Superman. But anyway, besides that, I am ecstatic about the scrolling timeline. Other things that we can talk about Final Cut Pro wise, that's fine. That's what we're going to talk about. But I personally am ecstatic about the scrolling timeline. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I am. And it's not just they added a scrolling timeline. It's more than that. The waveform's not an issue now. The waveforms redraw with the scrolling timeline. I think they draw even better than they have before. We saw a demo of it. Now, it's not coming out, I think, till later this month. I think what the Apple thing said. Let's do some of these comments because I'm here for you. I'm here to come on for you. I got to adjust my glasses because of this situation. Good morning from Durban, South Africa. Wow, what news? 10.7 looks so exciting. Hello from Philadelphia. Hi, Richard. Looking forward to hearing about the update. Thanks. Give us the lowdown, Richard. I will give you as much as I've seen. What's not going to make me happy is I have to update my MacBook to get the latest Logic and Final Cut Pro. Oh, yeah, but really, you must have a really old one because I think it goes back. They go back a little bit, right? I feel so underwhelmed with this update. Feels like another dot release. I understand that. Hello from Beijing. Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. Scott says, this is underwhelming. The scrolling timeline has been available through Command Post for years. The roll color sound intriguing, but I will reserve judgment until see what it really means. That's the thing. Well, let's get it in our hands and see. Well, very disappointed, Richard. I'm not going to debate that some people are going to be disappointed. That is always going to be the case. No matter what the Final Cut Pro team does, people are going to be disappointed on some things, and I'm not dismissing that. I am not saying that's not legitimate. I'm just saying the reality is no matter what they do, there's going to be some people that are going to be disappointed. That's all I'm saying. We got a lot of watchers, viewers today. So I did an interview earlier tonight, and one thing that nobody can call me, period, is I'm not a fanboy of Final Cut Pro. I'm a proponent and I'm an advocate for sure. I'm not a fanboy, somebody who just follows along the company line blindly. I do commentary on Final Cut Pro. I've been doing it for a long time. They appreciate the honesty when things are, going whatever, the controversy, if it's controversy. I knew as soon as I saw what was coming down the pike when they showed us the scrolling timeline and some other things, that it wasn't going to be enough. And I'm not even saying myself that I think it's enough. I'm not saying that. I'm just extremely happy about the scrolling timeline because I've been after that for 15 years. If they fixed, improved the waveform situation, that's almost more impactful than the scrolling timeline itself. They have, because the timeline scrolls and the waveforms keep up in real time. The timeline scrolls and the waveforms keep up in real time. They have improved the waveform redrawing, and that probably is probably an M2 and M3 only, or M1 only. I don't know if it works on Intel the same way. They really are into the silicone chips, as you can see. Hi from Belgium, 5:10 in the morning. That's incredible. When is it coming out? 10.7. I thought they said it's coming out. Somebody said later this month in November, but I also thought that I said later this year, or just later, shortly. Logic was updated to 10.8 today. Logic was updated to 10.8. Both, and the iPad version was updated as well. Now here's one of the things. If I think I'm accurate with this. So they demoed Logic. They demoed Final Cut Pro. There's been updates to compressor and updates to some update to Motion is carried over from Final Cut to Motion as well. Probably that tracking feature, which is faster now. So one of the things that I think this is correct. So they showed the demos, and if I'm not mistaken, they showed the demo of Logic on the iPad, and it had a scrolling timeline as well. Now, there's two things. I don't know if the original launch of Logic on the iPad has a scrolling timeline or not, but I'm pretty sure in the demo they showed today, the timeline was scrolling in Logic as well, which means the only thing that doesn't have a scrolling timeline is Final Cut on the iPad. It still scrolls off the screen. I can't imagine that being that way too much longer, though, since everything else now has a scrolling timeline. It's just I'm just that one feature I'm overwhelmed with because I've been after that for years and years and years. Hello from Seattle. Like to hear what's under the hood. So, number one is the waveform redrawing's been optimized a lot better, which is probably one of the reasons they did the scrolling timeline. And the mask tracing, tracking, whatever that is, that's been updated as well. Thank you very much for the thumbs up, by the way. That's been updated as well. It's now Metal Machine Learning or something. It's been updated, so that's much faster. I got to hold my glasses up in order to see. Will you be able to ask the Final Cut Pro team if we're going to get transcription in Final Cut Pro? I can certainly ask them that, and I will, but I don't know if they're going to answer. They won't answer, not specifically. That's Wednesday. We get the Q&A from the Final Cut Pro team. 2016 MacBook Pro, but it runs fine. No real hurry to update. Glad to see some traction with Final Cut. Well, first off, here's the thing. We want, when Final Cut's updated, we want features, okay? 10.7 has some features, okay? I'm sure it has bug fixes and optimization as well, but it has new features, a scrolling timeline, improved mask thing. There's some other, I didn't quite understand, but there's something to do with secondary storylines. You can kind of collapse them into a compound clip, but the thing is, the cool thing is, they expand right in place. They don't go off to another timeline somewhere. I don't know what they call that. I haven't had time. I have not had time to look at the Final Cut Pro announcement on the Apple website. Just very briefly. Let me get my water over here. Just very briefly, I did. So I'm not even sure. You've been reading that. You know more than I do at this point. I got to adjust my glasses when I look at the comments because this system's different than one I have at home. I thought I wouldn't be so disappointed it didn't take so long between actual updates and not just big fixes. I am not going to debate those things with you, and I am not saying that I don't agree with you. That's why I'm not going to debate them. I understand those comments 100%. I am still happy about the scrolling timeline, though. I must say, I just threw up my hands when they said that. Thanks for the update, Coco says. No B-Raw? No, I don't know what's going on with B-Raw. I wonder if the fix that many plugins from different developers often hanging and needing a Final Cut restart. Yeah, I don't know, is that on the plugin side, manufacturer side, or is that on the Final Cut Pro side? I don't know. I do not know. Sometimes it could be one or the other. I don't think it's... I just want a true audio mixer. I do too. I absolutely do. Here's the thing. 10.7, first off, I'm going to say, I don't care what you say about needing more things. I'm applauding the Final Cut Pro team. Number one is they did the Creative Summit. Number two is they got us into Apple Park. And number three is, here's the big one for me, being... since I go to the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, Apple announced Logic earlier in the day, but they did not announce Final Cut Pro update until the Final Cut Pro team could tell us in person. Then, once the Final Cut Pro team could give us the exclusive, they gave us exclusive look into Final Cut Pro. Only then was the announcement on Apple's website. That was very, very cool. That's very cool for the Final Cut Pro team to do that, and Apple as well. Let's see what else we got here. A lot of more comments, of course, as you might expect. I just want a true audio mixer, no B-Raw support. Transcription, yes, we absolutely want transcription. Well, they will be giving more updates the next couple of days. I don't think, well, we'll have to see what happens when the actual release happens. There's 3 or 4 things. Number one would be the scrolling timeline and some other things. We'll have to see the details of that, because I don't... When we watched it, first off, the team is fantastic. We watched it. It was a packed house. I don't know, 150 people, maybe more. Really, really good. Really good. They were very good presentation and stuff, so I don't think the next couple of days. We'll have to see what happens when the update comes out. Sorry, joining a bit late. Any word on modular workspaces or being able to manually select a secondary display? You can't manually select secondary display right now? Are you talking about Final Cut on an iPad? I'm not sure. still editing and following the podcast. Thank you very much. Talking about Final Cut Pro Radio. We start our 9th year Final Cut Pro Radio in January. Now, I put out a very short podcast at the end of October because I've been super involved with doing these live streams, which you are fantastic. You people come on here and we have this great dialogue, and I give you a voice. I'm here to give you a voice. I'm also here just to talk about Final Cut Pro in general. Over the summer, it was very difficult to come on here because there wasn't any Final Cut Pro news. There was zero Final Cut Pro news, but I still wanted to do it. I still wanted to just talk about Final Cut Pro, so that's what I did. Same with the podcast. I mean, sometimes there's not news for months and months on end, but now we got stuff to talk about. What are the 2 favorite things for you? Well, scrolling timeline, obviously. As a matter of fact, let's do this. Here we go. I love crossing things off my list. This is my top 100 things that I want to see in Final Cut Pro. And number 1 on my list for 15 years has been a scrolling timeline. It just never made sense to me that the playhead scrolls off the screen. And I don't care the people that say, oh, scrolling timeline, I don't want a scrolling timeline, I don't need a scrolling timeline. I don't care what you need, okay? That's fine. There's features that you want that I don't need. Let's just say that. That's just the way it works. The scrolling timeline has been number 1 on my list for 15 years. Now, are you saying, how can it be 15 years? Final Cut's only 12 years old. Is that what you're saying? Because Final Cut Pro 10, Final Cut Pro 5, not 10.5, Final Cut Pro 5. I had a top 50 list of things I wanted to see in Final Cut Pro 6. Number 1 was a scrolling timeline. So this isn't anything new to Final Cut Pro 10. Fantastic. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. So the 2 favorite things, scrolling timeline, and I guess I'm not clear what that secondary storyline thing is. It looks like you could combine clips in a secondary storyline that aren't on the same level, the same track anymore. Looks like you can combine, I think that's what it was, clips that are not on the same level, not on the same track, whatever. You can combine them into one, and the thing is they pop open and expand right in place in the timeline. They didn't jump to another timeline like multicam does, or like the other feature, like they stuff all the clips together. Look different for some reason. I have to see what's going on. So my second favorite thing is either that or it's the new tracking features. Did they show you all the roll colors? And if so, can you explain what that means? I think Logic has always had scrolling. No, Logic Mac, I'm talking about Logic on the iPad. Yes, Logic Mac has. No, Logic on the iPad. I don't think it has scrolling timeline prior, but I could be wrong because I don't have it. What did they say when you asked about other specific improvement? I didn't ask any. We didn't ask anything. This was not a Q&A. The Q&A is on Wednesday. For example, roles-based mixer, AI, text-based editing, better logic integration, etc. So we didn't ask questions today. This was just a presentation from the team. We asked questions on Wednesday afternoon. Voice to text? Not yet. Richard, did anybody at the summit have the chance to express their concerns with the pace of updates to Final Cut Pro Team? No, this was not a Q&A. We haven't had the Q&A. The Q&A is Wednesday. The Q&A was Wednesday. Wednesday at 4:45, something like that. That's when we would express that. This was not a Q&A back and forth. This was them presenting to us. Text-based editing, again, that's the new, text-based editing is the new dupe detection. If they expand in place, that's nice. That was kind of annoying to go to a different timeline when double-clicking a compound clip. Absolutely. Same with the multicam. The multicam goes to a separate timeline when you double-click on a multicam clip. But I don't want to go. I want to stay there. I don't know. They'll figure it out. They will figure that part out. But yeah, compound clip for sure. It's aggravating. I'm not sure what it is because it's a secondary storyline. Also, color on the rolls, I believe, and waiting long time like in Logic. Yeah, something happened with that. I'm not sure what the color in the rolls was about. Thanks for keeping us updated, Richard. Absolutely. I'll be back tomorrow morning. I've been filming. I was filming today, not in Apple Park. You cannot film or take pictures in Apple Park. Not even the outside. Thank you very much for the thumbs up, by the way. Not even the outside of the park. There's to be no pictures taken. So they weren't excuse me. They weren't going to arrest you, but that's what they What was the reaction to the update, assuming they revealed it there? They did reveal it. They showed us before at the same time it was released on the Apple website. It was very overwhelmingly positive. But listen, we understand this is not the end. We understand that this will frustrate some people because it's not enough of an update. I understand that. I completely understand that. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I think we need more. I have a list of 100 things I think we need. That doesn't take away from my enjoyment of having a scrolling timeline. I can do both things. I can say you need more than that, and I'm happy that you gave us the scrolling timeline. I can say both things at once. They're not mutually exclusive of each other. So Eric says, it's embarrassing, that's all. I won't be upgrading to the M3 MacBook Pro because of this sad update. That's, of course, is your prerogative, and it's not embarrassing. It's a good, scrolling timeline is a good feature update. I'm really grateful for the update. I guess this is the beginning of something big. Well, like I said, this is 10.7.0. That means this is the beginning of the 10.7 cycle. We got a year or so. Let's see what they do with it. I understand. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you about it needs more features. It does. But I still enjoy the scrolling timeline. I'm ecstatic about that. I'm really grateful for the update. I guess this is the beginning of something big. I already posted that. I posted it again by mistake. Plugin management to enable disabled plugins, especially as Final Cut Pro Symphonic. I agree with that, absolutely. Just organizing plugins and stuff. I'd like to drag and drop into folders, not have to go in the Finder and all that nonsense. So Jonathan says, on the Mac, if you have more than 2 displays, it seems to arbitrarily select which of the other displays it uses as secondary. Okay, I see. Unless there's a workaround I don't know about. That I can't help you with. Roz at Inspire Video, another thumbs up. Thank you very much. I am not going to last. I'm going to be crashing here shortly. When I come back here during the day, I got to make sure I charge everything up. I got about 12 things I have to charge up. I shot with my Lumix S5 Mark IIX today. It was a stellar performer in low light, just like I thought it was going to be. Stellar. When they turn the lights out, get ready to come on stage, the iPhone doesn't hold up. But the Panasonic does, absolutely. I think the expanding is based on this new way of expanding a compound clip in place. That's kind of the thing that I got at it, but I wasn't paying enough attention during that time, so I have to see. I'll find out more, but I know that it's definitely expanded in place. But they called it a second. I thought they called it a secondary story, or some kind of a new secondary storyline. So that's a little confusing. I'm not sure. Yeah, it just goes right out, just below, right where you are. Just expands in place in the timeline, and opens and closes, collapses. Richard, good stream. Thanks. Question: did the team mention DaVinci Resolve with other less complex but prominent friendly NLEs as CapCut at some point? No, they have not. I don't think they're gonna. I don't see any advantage for them to do that. Got it. Thanks. Looking forward to what the Final Cut Pro team feedback will be on Wednesday. I'm sure they're bracing for some stuff. We'll just have to see. I don't care what they put out. They can put out 100 features and people still wouldn't be satisfied. Some people. And I'm not saying that you don't have justification. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's just the way it is. I'm not sure. Justine says Apple can please some of the time, not and all none of the time. I'm not sure exactly. I know what you're trying to say. I personally think that they are more concerned with making Final Cut Pro stable and leaving advanced things to third parties. No, they definitely want to advance Final Cut. It's just, we'll have to see. We'll see how it goes from 10.7 on. Oh, excuse me. I'm very, very tired. I'm on East Coast time, and right now it is 11:30 at night for me. I go to bed normally by 7:30. When's the update happening? I think later this month. I think somebody said that. So I'll definitely be getting that. For the scrolling, are you kidding me? Scrolling timeline? Listen, when I do Final Cut Pro Radio, sometimes I have an hour and a half, 2-hour timeline of audio. And all I'm interested in is the waveform. There's no video associated with it. And now I have to do this constantly with the mouse. Or I just keep scrolling. Stop, cut, do something else, scroll, hold by the hand. Now I don't do that anymore. Put the scrolling timeline feature on, the playhead stays centered in the screen, and the waveforms go right by under the playhead. Much better. Much better. I never could understand why they never had that. So this was interesting. Yeah, somebody commented they edited 4,000 plus Apple Fitness videos in ProRes on Final Cut Pro. Yes, they did mention something exactly like that, but I don't remember the details. I do not remember the details. It would calm down a lot of our nerves if the Final Cut Pro team said something like, I hear you, stay tuned, lots of great stuff in the pipeline, just give some reassurance. I don't disagree with that at all. Do not at all. Apple has admitted that their silicone chips were not fast enough to run a scrolling timeline compared to Intel chips running Premiere Pro, etc. Okay, that's what they did. How about 3 or 4 monitor support? I don't know. I don't know what the problem is with the current supported monitors. What is the problem currently? How about 3 or 4 monitor support? I'm wondering if I connected timelines will allow for any sidechain compression or connection between audio rows. Don't know. Thanks for keeping us updated, Richard. I'm sure your time is all mixed up, especially with the time change in general in this past weekend. Well, the worst thing is the East Coast to the West Coast. Because like I said, it's right now 8:36. That means it's 11:36 on the East Coast. Excuse me. And I'm usually in bed by 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, so. Thanks for keeping us updated, Richard. I'm sure your time is all mixed up. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just read that. See? I should have not done that. You can switch the screens by replacing the master window to place the master window to another window, open viewer, and go to other screen, and then close Final Cut Pro and restart. Works sometimes. Okay? Works sometimes, not all the times. Okay, what else do we have? Thanks, Richard. Go to bed. We need you strong for the summit. Yeah, I have, I got to get my charging. My MacBook's plugged in, so that'll be charged. My gimbal is plugged in, so that'll be charged. But I got I got my batteries for my Lumix S5 Mark II. Have to get those out. One of those. I have 3 batteries for that. One of them needs charging. And then some other odds and ends. You're tired, get some rest. You have a full day tomorrow. Thank you very much. You people are the best. Let me tell you something. You're the best. Go to bed, Richard. Thanks for all your updates and keep a good night's sleep. Everyone buy him a coffee. Yes, please buy me some coffee. I need coffee. I got a lot of coffees today. It was fantastic. You must go to sleep. You're tired. Great job, by the way. Thank you very much. Everyone, hit that thumbs up. Everybody has been hitting that thumbs up. It's fantastic. It's appreciated. So let me go to bed. I wanted to come on because I wanted people to understand. I got the scrolling timeline, and I'm very excited about it, but that doesn't mean I stop there, and that's good. But listen, you have to give the Final Cut Pro team some slack a little bit. They're doing some good stuff. They're trying to get things updated. Obviously, it took a long time for dupe detection, a long time for scrolling timeline, but we got both of those things now. And this is 10.7, the beginning of the 0.7 stage. Let's see what happens going down the line. They can add more features as it goes along, obviously. Good night, Richard. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I will be back. Thank you. Got a lot of thumbs up. I will be back tomorrow morning. I'm going to think, what time is it now? Here it's 8:39, 8:40. So I'll probably sleep till about 3:30. I'll probably sleep till 3:30. Get up, take a shower. Get up to have a coffee. By the way, I want to specifically give a shout out to Serena Catania tonight. She drove me around to get cream for my coffee. She drove me around to get cream for my coffee. For some reason, there's a 10-mile radius around this hotel. There's no half and half of cream anywhere. But not really, but it just seemed like I couldn't walk anywhere and get it. She drove around and we got it. We got cream for my coffee. It's in my refrigerator. I am excited about that for tomorrow morning because I love having coffee in the morning when I first get up. And I like cream, not even half and half, but cream. Thank you, Richard. Have a good rest. So we'll talk more about it. Let me go to bed. Let me wake up tomorrow morning, gather some of the footage that I shot yesterday that I can play you some clips. Not at Apple Park. They didn't allow Apple Park photographs, but of this, on the summit itself, I talked to different people, some quick interviews and stuff, so I'll post all that. I'll post it. I'll play it tomorrow morning. We'll just continue our discussion of the update. We're not done talking about it yet. I completely understand where people are coming from. I'm not going to dismiss it. Just be professional. Just be professional. And I agree with a lot of your requests myself, but I'm just still, the scrolling timeline was a big deal for me. I was very, very pleased when I saw the icon on the screen And then they said the words, scrolling timeline. My hands went up. I said, you've got to be kidding me. So they are very cordial, friendly people, the Fonica Pro team. I want to give a big round of applause to the Fonica Pro team. Okay? So I'm going to get off here now. I just wanted to come on and tell you I'll be back on tomorrow. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel to be notified. I'll do the usual rounds. And I'll have coffee in me. I'll be wide awake. I won't be falling asleep on you. All right? Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Talk to you later.